Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So let me hit you with a simple question here. How many times have you said nothing when you should have said something? How many times have you convinced yourself that letting it slide made you the bigger person, when deep down it made you feel small? You called it maturity. You called it peacekeeping, but what it really was fear. And I'm not here to tiptoe around that. I'm not here to sugarcoat it or dress it up in some cheesy self-help slogan. It's not my style. I'm here to tell you the truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. So if you want to be free, you have to stop being afraid of conflict, because the absence of conflict isn't peace, it's submission. From the time we were kids, we were taught to behave, to be polite, to not cause problems. It starts small. Don't talk back, be nice, share. Later, it's don't rock the boat, don't be difficult, just keep the peace. But let's just call it what it really is. You were groomed to comply, not to think, not to stand, but just to obey. And here's the punchline. They told you that it was a virtue, that being harmless made you good. It was a virtue. It's what they told you. But no, it just made you harmless. And this is what Nietzsche called slave morality. A moral system invented not by the strong, but by the weak. Not by the courageous, but by the resentful. It teaches that being passive is righteous, that submissive is noble, and that anger is a sin. But in reality, it's just a way for powerless people to pretend their fear is a form of wisdom. That's all it really is. And every time you stay silent when something violates your boundaries, something dies within you. Every time you avoid saying no when you should have, your spine softens a little more. And the world notices. The people who take advantage of others, they can smell a man who's afraid of his own voice, and they feed on that. You think you're avoiding drama, but what you're really doing is avoiding your own self-respect. Because silence is not neutral. Silence signals to the world that you're fine with the way you're being treated. But guess what? Resentment doesn't disappear just because you keep your mouth shut. It festers, it ferments, it turns inward, and it rots you from the inside out. And you end up walking around like a pressure cooker ready to explode or implode. And this slave morality isn't just philosophy, it's everywhere. It's in workplaces where people tolerate incompetence just to be team players. It's in families, where one person controls the dynamic and everyone else tiptoes around them. It's in relationships where one partner is silenced by the threat of conflict, walking on eggshells to just avoid being seen as too much. But none of that is strength. It's self-erasure, and it becomes a lifestyle. People start defining themselves by how much they tolerate. They wear suffering like a badge of honor. They think enduring pain without protest makes them moral. But all it really does is make them complicit in their own oppression. So Nietzsche's concept of the will to power has been twisted over the years. So it doesn't mean dominating others. It means asserting your existence in the world. Not through force, but through presence, through action, through boundaries, through refusal. The will to power is in every moment you say that's not okay. It's in every decision you speak your truth, or the truth, I should say, and not for the sake of conflict, but because your voice matters, because you matter. And if you don't act like you matter, no one else will. It's not about being confrontational for the hell of it. It's about refusing to let your life be dictated by fear. Nietzsche lays out 3 phases of inner transformation. So there's the camel, the lion, and the child. The camel is the one who carries everything. Obedience, guilt, silence. He internalizes every command. Be quiet. Be good. Don't be angry. And he believes suffering makes him virtuous. But eventually the camel breaks. He gets tired of being a beast of burden for everyone else's expectations. And that's when he becomes the lion. The lion says no. No to fake virtue, no to guilt, and no to being someone else's punching bag. But the lion isn't the end, because even the lion is still defined by what he fights against. He's still reacting. The child is the final form. Not childish, but reborn, free, playful, creative. He doesn't live in reaction. He lives on his own terms. He builds values from the ground up. Not borrowed, not imposed, chosen. That's the arc. Camel to lion, lion to child, endurance, rebellion, creation. You don't find out who you are by sitting quietly and nodding. You find out who you are when your beliefs are tested, when someone challenges you, when the easy option is to shut up and you don't. That is the moment where identity takes shape. And it's not in comfort, but in conflict. It's not in peacekeeping, but in line drawing. You can't create a self if you're always adapting to everyone else. You can't build integrity on top of people pleasing. And you sure as hell can't call yourself free if your peace is dependent on never upsetting anyone. So let's stop pretending that silence is harmless. It teaches your kids how to fold. It teaches your friends how to treat you. It teaches the world that you don't matter even to yourself. Every time you tolerate something that you shouldn't, every time you hide your convictions behind a smile, every time you choose comfort over clarity, you're reinforcing the very thing that's keeping you stuck. And here's another bitter pill. Cowards don't just lose the fight. They lose their soul. And look, I'm not I'm not telling you to go out and start screaming at people in the grocery store. This isn't about being a hothead. This is about being awake. About seeing how the programming runs so deep that even your silence isn't really yours. It's inherited. You weren't born afraid of conflict. You were taught to fear it. You were conditioned to confuse passivity with peace. But if you want to live free, you've got to unlearn all of that. You have got to rewire your nervous system to understand conflict is not the enemy. Fear is. Silence is. Start small. Speak up. Set boundaries. If your voice shakes, use it anyway. Because you weren't meant to live like a camel. You weren't meant to settle for survival. You were built to create, to stand, to transform. And you start that process by saying the one thing that changes everything, and that is no more. No more. So yeah, I mean, if this strikes a chord, if it hits you, don't keep it to yourself. Comment down below. Say, I choose to stop being afraid of conflict. Say it out loud. Make it real. And, if you're on this journey of rebuilding yourself, click over to the next video. I've got more coming. So, my content is not for the weak, and it's not for the fake. It's for the ones ready to fight back, starting with themselves. So that's all I have for today. And that's what I'll leave you with. So I appreciate you taking the time if you've made it to the end. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.